What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I am, of course, your host, Reckless Rexx Ruger. That, of course, is my silent sidekick, the Freddie Mercury puppet. We are back with another incredible episode. Before we get to it, I will, as I do every time we get together here, address the proverbial elephant in the room. You are looking at these smoldering good looks, these luscious blonde locks. The answer is yes, okay? You are looking at the one and only love child of one Diamond David Lee Roth. I owe all this beauty to Pops. Now I've divulged that. We can move on. We can get down to brass tacks, which, as I said, is another incredible episode of Pod Scum. It's what we do, folks, and we ain't going to be changing it no time soon. Before my guest gets in here, and I'm super excited to have him, I will give my obligatory promotional spiel. And it is a spiel. If you have a podcast, you got to pimp it. You know the rules. The pimp hand, there it is, folks. It's feeling very strong. So here we go. Make sure to tap in with Pod Scum on Facebook. Our handle is Off the Couch Boxing and Pod Scum. Two separate podcasts. I got the little boxing show and I got the little music show, this one. So tap in with us on Facebook. And of course, same handle on Instagram. Off the Couch Boxing and Pod Scum. And most importantly, if you're here watching us right now, this is where you're going to get your meat and potatoes, the incredible conversations, the amazing content. This is where it really all goes down. We promote through Facebook and Instagram, but this is where you really need to be. If you're here, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and most importantly, make sure to hit that notification bell to stay tapped in and be privy to when that new content is going to drop. We drop it weekly. Sometimes it's an episode. Sometimes it's multiple episodes, depending on, again, how productive of a week we've had, how much content we're sitting on. But you guys know I like to get it out to you guys ASAP. I'm excited to do the episodes. I'm even more excited to unveil them to you guys and have you guys enjoy them. So I get the stuff out ASAP. And again, before my guest gets in here, it's the holiday season. I want to express a little gratitude. As an independent podcaster, I check the analytics on YouTube Studio. The shows are always trending upwards. It's absolutely amazing to me. I owe all that to the viewers, the subscribers. It goes without saying, the guests. Obviously, without them, I would not be able to do this. So it just absolutely blows me away. But the viewers, the subscribers, the people that have really tapped in and been supportive of the of both shows, Off the Couch Boxing and Pod Scum. It's been absolutely amazing. It's been a crazy ride as we're closing in on, at the time of this recording, it's November 18th. So we're almost into the holiday season. We're almost wrapping up 2025. And, expect more big things. I'm lining up, more huge interviews. Really trying to, continue to bring you amazing content, incredible conversations. We're not reinventing the wheel here. In the descriptions on YouTube and when I promote the episodes on Facebook, I always say Rexx chops it up with. That's all we're doing, chopping it up, having some conversation, and just really learning about these incredible artists, boxers and fighters on the other show. Musical artists, musicians, behind the scenes type stories, touring life, upbringing, how they got into this, this rock and roll world. So I really like to dive in. I like to keep it fun, but yet informative. I think you guys know that. I think that's what you've come to expect here. It's what we do, and it's what we're going to continue to do. Like I said, we ain't going to change it. So again, appreciate you guys. My guest is here, so now I can finally shut up and stop stalling for time, which is obviously what I was doing, and we can get down to brass tacks. So here we go with another incredible episode. I'm excited. You're excited. So, Rob, how's it going, man?
Hey, what's up, man? Sorry, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no worries, man. Hey, listen, us New Yorkers got to stick together, man. I'm a New Yorker too, man. Right?
Yeah, where are you from?
I'm upstate.
Okay.
Which I do want to point out, man, often gets misconstrued because when I tell people that I'm from New York, no one can seem to wrap their head around that there's any other parts but the city.
Right.
You know what I mean? Instantly people want to know what borough. You know, I'm 4 hours from all the excitement that people I think associate with New York.
Yeah, people don't realize, people forget how big New York actually is.
I think they do. Yeah, I think they really do sometimes, man. And I want to dive into the stuff that you've done musically, but one thing I'm really intrigued by is all the producing you've done. And I'm curious to know, as a producer, is it just one of those things as a musician that you're able to kind of like segue into, is that a self-taught thing, or like, you know, when you're a musician that becomes a producer, do you like look over someone's shoulder? Do you apprentice? Like, how do you get into that?
I mean, there's no real formula for it. I mean, I think everyone's story is different. It's just like, you know, any musician really. Everyone's story is a little bit different and unique. But yeah, I mean, it's somewhat self-taught. I mean, I think it stems from just loving to create music, and you know, I've always been like really into like, you know, studio gadgets and you know, hardware gear, like, you know, recording gear and stuff like that.
Right.
You know, for as long as I can remember. So I've always kind of had the bug for it, you know, and yeah, I don't know. I've been doing it a long time. It's kind of like, you know, it's a lot of fun, and it's definitely a lot of work, but I love doing it. And you know, I think the most important thing for me, you know, making records is not, you know, really making a conscious effort to not repeat myself. You know what I mean?
Right, right. And so did you, so talking to musical artists on here, there is a common theme of a lot of artists coming from musical households, maybe parents that were musically proficient, or a lot of music and records playing in the household. Was this the case for you?
Yeah, I grew up in a house where there was constantly music playing. My dad's like, first of all, my dad named me after Bobby Darin, the singer Bobby Darin.
No kidding.
He's obsessed with music, my father, maybe even more than me. But yeah, there was always music on. I was introduced to it really early on. You know, my dad's really into like, you know, the old New York doo-wop scene, like the Belmonts and stuff like that. But also like Tony Bennett, Dean Martin. He loves Dean Martin. It's one of his favorite singers. His ultimate favorite is Bobby Darin. But yeah, so there was always a lot of different stuff that I was exposed to, you know, at a young age. And you know, it's like anything else. You know, as you grow older, you kind of find your way. And you know, I found Eddie Van Halen.
He was the gateway. He was the, you know what? I hear that story a lot among guitar players. He's a lot of guys. He's a lot of players' gateway, man. And so out of all the guitar players in the world, you know, you hone in on him, man. What is the reason? Obviously, we know Eddie's a great guitar player, man. But I'm not a musician, you know, myself. What is it that you tap into specifically that why Eddie Van Halen resonates with you as a player?
There's a magic to what he does. That, it's almost kind of indescribable, but it's unique to him, and it's infectious. And it resonated with me really early on as a young kid. There's like a fun factor to what he does that I think is what really kind of drew me in. You know what I mean? He's like doing all this crazy stuff on the guitar, but he's like smiling the entire time. Right. No one, you know, it always seemed to me that he was having like, you know, a ball, you know, doing what he does. And I just love that. I thought it was amazing.
Very infectious.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so was it always going to be the guitar for you? Or do you play other instruments? Were you drawn to any other instruments, or was it the guitar right out of the gate?
I mean, I definitely I play drums. I play bass. I play, I could fool some people on the piano, but guitar is definitely my main thing. But I just like making music, you know, so whatever it is, if it makes a sound, I'll figure out how to utilize it and use it.
How early on in life do you get a guitar in your hands?
I would probably, well, there's pictures and video of me. Well, not really video. It was too early back then, but there's a lot of pictures of me with a guitar at like 5 years old.
And were you one of these guys that took a lot of lessons? You know, I know a lot of guys are self-taught, or they just seem to have like a gift. You know what I mean? Like, what was the learning curve like for you?
I'm very much self-taught. I don't really, I don't really know what the hell I'm doing, to be honest. I mean, I do to a certain point, but I never really got bogged down with you know, the whole music theory thing. I went to Berkeley. I was enrolled at Berkeley.
Yeah.
And there was a guy, his name's Joe Stump, great guitar player. He was my private teacher and stuff. And, you know, we would just get together. I just remember, you know, showing up and we just literally jammed. It was like playing with any one of my other friends, you know what I mean?
Right.
But like, you know, sitting in a classroom and you know, the academics of it, I never really was into. You know, I think it's again, it's everyone's story is different. It depends on what you want to do. If I was, if my path was, you know, jazz or fusion or classical and, you know, that kind of a thing, it would be different. You know, I think my story would be different.
You dig more, yeah, right. You start to dig more into the cerebral side of it, right? Then you know, the understanding theory and reading all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's a different approach. It's a different perspective. It's a whole different thing. You know, I might be able to do all this stuff, but I don't know what it's called, and I don't really care what it's called.
Right.
You know?
The end justifies the means.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's always about, you know, as far as like guitar playing and solos and all that stuff, it's always about, you know, serving the song and taking the song to a different place.
Yeah.
And saying something. That's the most important thing.
And so what was your first real gig or like, you know, foray into doing this on like on a semi-professional and or professional level? Obviously, people know you from VOLBEAT, people know you from stints in Anthrax, but where did it really start for you?
Years ago, I was in a band, a local Brooklyn, New York band called Boiler Room, and
okay.
we had a big following locally. You know, we sell out all the local venues and stuff, and that turned into a record deal, and then that turned into a big kind of world tour. We went to Europe for the first time, and we had literally the best time ever. It was amazing. But you know, I learned firsthand. You know, you hear all these stories about, you know, bands and they go on the road and everything changes and all this stuff, and that definitely happened. So, you know, we did that tour and we broke up immediately when we got home.
Took that much out of you, huh?
Yeah. So, you know, that was that. I also think we kind of made a record that we didn't really make the record that I think we all wanted to make, and it just kind of put us on a weird trajectory. But yeah, so but at the same time there was also so much other stuff going on here in New York with the New York music scene, and ended up hooking up with one of my best friends, Eddie Wall, and we started, you know, recording a lot of stuff together and producing and making records, and then the whole Anthrax thing came about. And you know, I was always like, you know, one of the biggest Anthrax fans around. So, you know, that was kind of a big thing. And then we ended up producing that record, We've Come For You All.
Yep.
So it was kind of like both of those things kind of, you know, both of those, because I do think they're different careers, even though it's all music, you know, producing, and, you know, being in a band. Both of those things kind of happened at the same time for me, you know, where, you know, from that point on, it was kind of crazy. And
so do you come on Anthrax radar as a producer or as a guitar player?
Oh, definitely as a guitar player.
Okay, as a guitar player, and so how do you come on their radar? Is it just because they have roots in New York and they know of you? Do you audition for them? You know, for people that don't know the story, like how do you end up in Anthrax? Obviously, one of the great thrash bands, one of the big four. I mean, you know, legendary.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we definitely had a lot of the same. You know, the music scene, especially in New York at the time, it's, you know, the circle was very small.
Yeah, it's close knit.
Everyone knew everyone, and you know, I was definitely friends with some of the guys. But yeah, I definitely, you know, let it be known that I wanted to play with them, and I was pretty aggressive about it. I mean, I just love the band, and you know, it worked.
And so were you up against anybody else? Did you have to audition, or was the job just kind of yours when you expressed the interest?
No, there was definitely God, I'm trying to remember how this all went down, but yeah, there was definitely an audition of sorts. At the time, they were rehearsing Yonkers right up the Sawmill.
Yeah,
that was their base for years, which was like 5 minutes from me. But yeah, so we, I remember we got together there and we jammed and just kind of it felt like something. It definitely felt good. So.
And when you go into an Anthrax audition, how do you prepare for that? I mean, like, I know there's legendary stories back in the day when Jason Newsted was going to, audition for Anthrax. He learned the set list when they were out on tour with Ozzy. I mean, he knew the songs that he thought that they would ask him to play. How does the audition go for you? How do you know, how to prepare and what to prepare for an Anthrax audition?
I already knew all the songs.
You did? Yeah.
Yeah, I knew all the songs. I think I actually recorded. I did actually. I recorded a couple of songs from the Stomp record, Stomp 442.
Okay.
It's kind of crazy, but yeah, I gave him that demo of me playing those songs. In my own way. I did.
Right.
I didn't stick to the script too much. I did it kind of in my own way to show, like, what I do, what I can do, or whatever. And yeah, I wish I had that now. Actually, I got to look for that.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, yeah. But I'll bet you there's not a lot of people that approach an audition like that, though. I imagine that's probably pretty rare. Most guys probably go in and actually, like, just physically play. But there's probably not many people that probably, like, actually, like, put anything down on tape. Is that rare? That's not the norm.
I don't know, but it definitely. I think it got their attention. I think it got Charlie's attention. But yeah, no, it did lead to us getting together in a room and we played. That led to obviously more of that. So
yeah. And when you go in for an audition like that, because Anthrax is who they are, and at the point that you joined the band, for your first stint, early 2000s, I mean, they're already, have legendary status. As a player, is there a lot of pressure on you? Are you the type of guy that puts a lot of pressure on yourself, or are you pretty relaxed in those type of situations?
I definitely put a lot of pressure on myself. I guess hypercritical.
Yeah.
Probably to a fault sometimes, but I think it's also healthy to always try to push yourself and all that stuff. But yeah, the whole thing with Anthrax was kind of surreal for me. I remember the first show we did, looking over and just seeing Scott Ian on the other side of the stage.
Yeah.
This is so crazy, But yeah, I think it that was a wild ride. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm definitely super critical of what I do always, all the time.
And your stints in those bands and the albums that you were on, how involved were you in the creative process? I mean, like, did they let you in as a collaborator, or do they kind of take the reins on the creative part?
I mean, with Anthrax, they've been around forever, so they have they have their thing, and their inner, whatever dynamic that is.
Yeah, it works.
They do their thing. I think every band has, again, everyone's story is different. Every band is different. There's no formula really for this stuff. But they've been doing it so long, they're very set in their ways and stuff like that. But I was definitely collaborating as well. The records that we did together, I was, in the producer seat. So that's, that in and of itself is a very collaborative kind of thing. So yeah, I'm really proud of all the stuff we did.
And is it a big honor, like, win a band that's that legendary, actually, has you as a player in the band, but has you producing the albums too? As you just made mention, you were in the producer's seat as well. Obviously, man, that's probably like a pretty coveted spot when you're a band of Anthrax's, status.
Yeah. What was the question though?
Sorry. Is the pressure kind of different when you're sitting in that producer seat? Because obviously Anthrax has already got legendary status, man. That's probably a pretty coveted seat. Is it a different type of pressure? Is it in terms of playing with them, sitting there and producing an Anthrax album?
Absolutely. It's a totally different type of pressure. You know, I think the name of the game with a band like that's been around so long, and obviously they're amazing in what they do.
Yeah.
One of the best live bands around still, even to this day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the whole thing with making a record with a band like that is trying to capture that magic, you know, on the record.
Yeah.
Which is not always an easy thing to do, you know. And so that was always my goal with Anthrax, and I feel like we did that.
And now, oddly enough, I was on your social media page, and I saw that you were recently at Charlie Benante's wedding, which was which is a ceremony presided over by the legendary Gene Simmons. Now, I have one of those online ordainment cards and have married my son and his wife and done a couple friends' weddings. How is Gene Simmons in that role, presiding over a wedding, without divulging too much about Charlie's, special day and what went on behind the scenes? But as far as officiating a wedding, how is the legendary Gene Simmons?
He was great. He was really funny. I mean, we didn't really know that was happening. Obviously, they did a really good job of keeping that a surprise. But it was, it was kind of crazy. Really cool. Yeah, he was very funny. The weird thing is, unfortunately, at the time, I remember that day thinking, we kind of all knew what was going on with Ace, and we were all worried about Ace. Yeah. So yeah, it was. But we were also, I think people were, weren't really talking to Gene about it, that kind of a thing. I got a chance to talk to him after the ceremony and stuff. Took some pictures. Yeah, he was super cool. But yeah, I don't know. He was great in that role. I didn't expect it, and yeah.
That's pretty special. It's pretty special, man, when you can look back and say Gene Simmons officiated your wedding, though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, Charlie loves Kiss. It's like
I know. Yeah. So, and so talk to me a little bit about how you got, how you get the gig in VOLBEAT, because you did you were in that band for a decade.
Yeah, I think it was even longer than a decade, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that came about through more of the producer thing. I met the guys back, God, it was like 2010, I guess 2009. When Scott and I were doing the band things. Yeah, we went on tour with VOLBEAT, and that's kind of how I met the guys. We became good friends. And yeah, I remember having conversations with them, about, I always wanted to get them in the studio. I always thought they were an awesome band, and I thought we could, we could make something really great together. So that's kind of, how it started, with VOLBEAT. And then, fast forward all those, however many years, well, wasn't that long actually after that, 2013, I don't remember. Yep. But, yeah, they were about to make a record, and at the time I remember I wasn't really following what was going on with them, but I guess they didn't have a guitar player. Yeah. So it kind of, they had called me, Michael called me about, possibly recording and producing some stuff on the new album, and I went out to Denmark, and then that turned into, will you play a solo on a song? Well, of course. Yeah. That kind of a thing, and it just kind of clicked, and it just clicked from there.
And because playing live and touring is such a big part of the music industry, what's your relationship like with touring? Obviously, there is a glamorous side to it, touring the world, seeing all kinds of cool stuff. But I imagine there's probably, and hearing this from other musicians, a tedious side to it. You're leaving behind your creature comforts. You're out on the road, oftentimes in uncomfortable situations. What's your relationship like with touring?
I love touring. I've always loved it. I love traveling, and I love playing live. So, for me, it's everything that goes with it. I will say it's not, it's obviously not, for everyone. You have to be a certain type of person, and you have to really really want it and love it to do it. You know, it's that kind of a thing. And a lot of guys, there's a lot of great players out there that just they don't really get on with the road. You know, it's not easy.
It's not right.
But I love it. You know, I love it.
Do you feel like, you know, as a guy who's been on the stage, but also been behind the scenes as a producer, where we are right now, and obviously we're not going to go backwards, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. But do you like where the music world is right now in 2025? Obviously, we're in a world of streaming. We're in a world of people really aren't consuming music the same way anymore. You know, oftentimes people aren't listening to full albums all the way through. It's a track by track world. People are making playlists. You know what I mean? They're not dropping the needle sometimes and listening to albums all the way through. There has been some seismic changes in the music world, man. You know, overall, you know, what's your thoughts on it, where we are right now?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. I think the music business and the music world is, you know, it seems like it's just always in a constant state of flux. It's like,
yeah,
you know, I don't really know where things are going to end up, if they really end up anywhere. You know, like you said, the whole streaming thing, I think, you know, as a fan of music myself, I think it's an amazing thing, you know, because it's, you know, I use it all the time and it's introduced me to so many artists and bands that I never would have come across.
Me too. Yeah.
So in that sense, it's phenomenal. But yeah, obviously there's the downfall, the downside of that, you know, with artists not getting compensated correctly and all that stuff. But you know, there's so many great bands and great artists out there that I keep finding. You know, I feel like music is in a pretty good place. You know, well, the other thing too is I think the world is so screwed up right now.
Oh yeah.
That, you know, any kind of art, you know, is kind of an expression and maybe a reflection of what's going on around you and all that stuff. And I think, you know, obviously because of that, there's a lot of great music. There's a lot of great, you know, extreme metal stuff coming out that I think is amazing. Yeah, there's always stuff I'm finding, you know, so I think the music scene is actually doing pretty good. You know, I think the live music scene is doing really good.
Yeah.
It's changing. It's different. You know, people don't buy records the way they used to. So that, you know, that was a big source of income back in the day, and it's not anymore. So it's just different.
Does an LP still make sense, man? Because we are seeing a lot of artists doing shorter works, like I just mentioned, tracks or EPs. You know, and again, maybe that speaks to the point of how people's attention spans have dwindled and how people aren't putting on full albums anymore. You know, where do you stand on the whole LP versus EP or even singles?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's just something to be said for all of that stuff. I mean, I love putting on an album and listening to it all through. It just depends on the artist. Some bands I can't even listen to the whole album. You know, it's just musically it might be so dense and maybe technical or whatever that it's just kind of 4 songs as far as I can get or something like that. But it just depends. You know, there's something to be said for the whole single thing. I mean, releasing singles, that goes back to
a lot, yeah,
when the music business started.
Right.
You know, with like Elvis and Sun Records and
right,
all that stuff. That's how it was back in the day. So that's nothing new. I don't think, you know, it might be new for the younger generation today, but it's really nothing new. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I think it just kind of depends. There's you know, the other thing too is if you're going to go play and do shows and stuff, you have to have the songs. You have to have something.
Yeah. You gotta have something. Yeah, you gotta have something out there to promote. And so right now, currently, are you involved in any musical endeavors or any projects right now?
Therein lies the question.
Therein lies the question. Yeah, there's the $1 million question. Well, you know, if I'm not mistaken, it's been since VOLBEAT was since 2023. You haven't done anything with them, correct? And again, I'm taking this with a grain of salt because this is what I'm reading on the internet, which we know is never wrong. But
yeah, no, I've been busy. You know, I've been writing a lot of music, recording a lot of stuff, working with different people. You know, at the production level, and you know, keeping it super busy. So yeah, there'll be something.
Where do you feel like, throughout your career as a performer, is there one period of time, one project, one album, one stint that maybe you could point at where you could say, here's where I felt was my creative high point? You know what I mean? Where I was really firing on all cylinders.
Oh, it's a good question. I mean, I'm super proud of all the stuff I've done.
Yeah.
Worked really hard on all of it. Yeah, I think Anthrax worship music is
yes. Yeah.
There's so much chaos around that record. And just the fact that we were able to like pull it all together and put out a record as strong and solid as that is, I'm really proud of it. The first record I did with VOLBEAT, Outlaw Gentlemen, Shady Lady, I'm really proud of it. I think we made something really special on that record. There's a record I did years ago, a band called Cradle of Filth. The album's called Amphetamine. Nominated for a Grammy back then.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's also a record I'm really proud of. A lot of chaos around that record too.
A lot of chaos. A lot of yeah. Is it more gratifying, or are they kind of on the same? Are they kind of on the same level? To be a player on a great album, or be the guy that produced a great album. Obviously, they probably scratch different creative itches. Is one more gratifying than the other to be a part of one as a player, or one behind the scenes?
I don't know if I would say that. I mean, it's all
kind of relative.
It's all music,
Yeah.
For me, it's all kind of one and the same. Even though it's, like I said earlier, they are kind of two different careers, but it's all creating music. So.
How early on in life did you really lock in and say, I'm all in on this whole music thing? Like, was it ever going to be anything else? Was anything else like on the radar?
Hell no.
No.
No, it was always music for me. There was never any backup plan or I think, I mean, we could talk for ages about this, but I think if you really want something, if you really want to do something in life, obviously, I guess there's something to be said for playing things safe, maybe having a backup plan and stuff. But I feel like it does something to your subconscious where you're always thinking you have something like a safety net, and you might not ever reach where you really want to go.
I've heard other guys in the arts that I've had on here that have echoed that same kind of thing. I think especially like when you're entering, an artistic field, having that backup plan and that safety net, man, it can sometimes, you're right, it can sometimes kind of almost hold you back from pushing through. And so obviously when you get into a career in the arts, though, it can be speculative. The chances of making it and being successful sometimes are not always in everyone's favor. It sounds like your family and your parents were supportive as far as like being fans of music, man. But was anybody kind of like, Rob, be careful, you're getting into the arts? You know what I mean? Like, were the parents supportive in that respect of going all in as a profession?
Super supportive,
yeah.
My dad is super supportive. Again, like I said, he's obsessed with all things music.
Yeah. And so what does he think about the kind of music that you play, though, which is obviously like a vast departure from the Bobby Darin and the Dean Martin stuff?
Yeah, I mean, he loves it, he loves it, or he learned to love it.
He learned So you convert him into an Anthrax fan.
Yeah, I mean, hey, he's at all the shows.
Really?
Both of my parents. Oh yeah.
That's cool. And now what kind of a thrill is it? Because you were involved in some of the Big Four shows too, correct?
I mean, all of them.
Yeah, those were monumental. Yeah, those were pretty special.
That was amazing. Yeah.
Now, did you ever think you'd see the day, you know, because obviously it was a big moment, you know, like we've seen the DVD, you know what I mean? Like we've seen like all the footage of all those bands that have such a place in metal history, all sharing the stage together, coming out at the end for the big jam, seeing Dave Mustaine and James Hetfield out taking the stage again together. I mean, you know, huge moments, man. You know what I mean? Like to be up there, man. I mean, is it surreal on some level that you know, here you are, this guy that finds yourself in this situation playing with Anthrax, a band that you admire and love, and then I mean, it's got to be like a pinch yourself moment.
Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely surreal, and yeah, there's so many great memories I have from that tour. The Metallica guys are just so awesome.
Yeah,
and you know, I think if it wasn't for that tour probably would have been a disaster. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
But one of the best things that could have happened, you know, it happened the first show in Poland. Metallica set up like a private dinner, like no crew was allowed, no wives, no girlfriends, no, like it was just band members, and that was amazing because it just kind of put everyone on the same level, and whatever weirdness that might have been there, you know, obviously these bands have been doing their thing forever. There was, you know, I just remember as a kid just reading, you know, shit talking back and forth, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But none of that mattered, you know, and I think that was super critical to the success of that tour. Like just Metallica doing that and putting everyone in the room together and everyone just hugging each other, and you know, a lot of these people haven't seen each other in a long time, also. So
yeah,
it was just great. It just kind of set the tone, and the rest of that tour was just phenomenal. It was amazing. Everyone got along great. You know, again, Metallica is a class act. You know, I've been lucky enough to have toured with them, you know, quite a bit over the years. You know, between the Anthrax stuff, also with VOLBEAT, and they've always been amazing. Like just phenomenal. You know, just to everyone around them, you know, the other bands, you know, the crew, like just the way they run their whole thing is just amazing. So
now, yeah. Obviously, now. You know, obviously, even just the names that I just said, you know, could be the answer to this question. But you know, and you were just at a wedding presided over by Gene Simmons, so maybe that's the fucking answer. I don't know. You've gotten so many cool experiences, but has there been that jaw dropping moment in your travels all over the world, playing shows, playing festivals, where you got to meet somebody that was really like that moment where you were like, holy shit, I can't believe I just met that person? And I just named a whole bunch of people that would probably be the answer for a lot of people, but maybe it's not for you though. I mean, you know, you've obviously gotten to brush up against some pretty amazing people, you know, in your time doing this. You know, have there been a couple that have really blown your mind?
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, I've met a lot of people. Unfortunately, I never met Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah,
like the one guy I always really wanted to meet, but you know, it never worked out. I'm trying to think. I mean, you know, the Metallica guys, you know, especially Hetfield, he definitely has an intimidating presence.
No doubt. I can see that. Yeah. Yeah.
But he's super sweet, you know. He's always so cool. But yeah, I don't really know. Well, there was, you know, there's a few things actually. Now that we're talking about it, all these things are popping into my head. But years ago, I got to work with Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, that's big. That's big.
Yeah, I was producing a record. This guy named Jesse Mallon, and the album's called Glitter in the Gutter.
Oh yeah, Jesse's great.
Yeah, Jesse's awesome. And you know, Bruce. Long story short, Bruce was doing a duet on this one song with Jesse called "Broken Radio." And yeah, he invited us out to his studio house in Jersey. I think it was Rumson, New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he just got this house with all this land, and he's got it. If I remember correctly, it was kind of set up like an old cowboy saloon inside. Really cool. But the studio was on like this patio that was all like surrounded by glass and stuff. Gorgeous place. And yeah, I just remember, you know, the patio overlooked like all of this land, and from a distance, you saw this motorcycle like driving up. You know, it's kind of like a scene out of a movie.
Right.
It was Bruce driving up on his motorcycle. It was like a Triumph motorcycle or something.
Yeah.
You know, and I just remember he pulls up, takes his helmet off, steps into the room. It's just like his aura was like amazing.
Yeah, you talk about Hetfield's aura. Yeah, I mean, that's got to be huge, man. That's got to be. I mean, it's fucking Bruce Springsteen, for God's sakes.
Yeah, and you know, he was honestly like one of the nicest people. Like,
yeah,
so cool, so nice, so humble. I couldn't believe it. I was kind of blown away.
Yeah.
You know?
It's nice to hear those kind of stories, man, too, man. You know what I mean? Because I think sometimes people need to hear that, man, because like a lot of times we can't get close to these guys. Obviously, Metallica just seems so larger than life. I'm an independent podcaster. I couldn't just reach out and get the guys from Metallica on. So it's nice when someone could actually, you know, who's been around them, man. You know they're huge stars, but yet it's nice to hear those behind the scenes things, like where you know they're real guys. Like I had the privilege a couple weeks ago of having Michael Alago on the podcast.
Oh, really?
Who obviously brought us the great fucking Metallica. I mean, we owe him fucking Metallica, and I got the privilege to be able to tell him that or whatever, man. But and you know, I know you have a relationship with him too, right? I've seen pictures of you guys on.
Oh yeah,
great guy.
I love Michael.
Yeah,
what a great dude. Actually, I gotta call him after we finish here.
I mean, brought us to and that's not a leap either, man. I mean, literally brought us Metallica. You know what I mean? Like literally reached out and fucking signed those guys, man. Brought them into the world's into the world view.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a huge part of their story. You know?
Huge. Yeah.
You know, everyone knows that. So,
are there any players out there that you would say have had the most impact on your own playing? You mentioned Eddie Van Halen, but are there a couple of the names you could throw out there that you feel like have impacted your style and your approach to the instrument?
There's a million players. You know, old school guys, Angus Young.
Yeah.
You know, Angus and Eddie were the two main influences for me as a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many great players. I love David Gilmour. I love Prince. I think Prince was a phenomenal guitar player.
Love him. Yeah, absolutely love him. Absolutely worship the guy, man. I mean, you know, I'm a rock and metal guy, man, but you know, and I have my favorite bands, and then Prince is kind of like that beacon above all of them for me. You know what I mean? Like he's always had a special place, you know, for me. And I you know, I'll often tell people that, and they instantly go right to the fact of like his pop songs. Oh, a pop star. People don't really realize what a great guitar player he was, what a great musician, what a fucking rock star he was, a rocker.
Yeah, Prince was a fucking demon. Like, no matter what he did, he was the best at it.
Yeah. I think people don't really realize that, and they just equate him, man, like with the top 40, you know, pop stuff that people hear, you know what I mean? And they don't realize, you know, usually when I'm going to try to show people, you know, prove people wrong in that, I always revert back to that 2004 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame performance where he just ripped it up on While My Guitar Gently Weeps and rips that fucking solo at the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's like, yeah, he's no pop star, man. Watch this, you know, like.
Yeah, he just schooled everyone on that stage.
He did.
That was incredible. Yeah, you know, Prince has always been great, but you know, I'm always looking for you know, guitar players to be inspired by. I like a lot of the extreme metal stuff too. There's a band I saw the other day. Drove all the way to Boston to see this band that I love. They're from New Zealand. They don't really come here too often. They're called Ulcerate.
Okay.
And yeah, the guitar player has such a unique, crazy style. I just think it's amazing. And I just wanted to see it in person. You know, he just has there's like a dissonance to the way he plays that is just killer. They were so good, that band.
And so what are your own listening trends like? You know what I mean? Like when you're puttering around the house listening to music, or you're in your car, are you able to find, you know, like new stuff to listen to? Or are you the kind of like listener that kind of falls back on the familiar stuff that you've always kind of, you know, always listened to, you know what I mean? Like stuff from the past?
No, I'm like a music junkie. I'm always listening to new stuff. Always, you know, I'm kind of crazy with it. I'm constantly trying to find new stuff to get excited about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's not like a set soundtrack that I listen to, you know, on a regular basis. Depends on what's going on, or what, in other words, like if I'm trying to, like, if I'm working on a song, for example, I'm stuck on like coming up with a riff or whatever, I'll put on like some Sabbath records, or
yeah,
or some old Metallica stuff, just kind of, just for inspiration. But again, I'm always looking for new stuff. Listening right now to this new Veil Burner record, which I think is pretty awesome. I don't know if you heard of them, but
they're great. Yeah,
they're killer. The new AFI record is probably my favorite record right now. I think it's amazing. It's like Sisters of Mercy meets Bauhaus. Also, I've never really listened to that band. Here and there a little bit, but yeah, this new record, I forget the name of the album, but yeah, it's phenomenal.
How does being like a New Yorker, because obviously, man, obviously I'm an upstate New Yorker, as I mentioned too. I mean, we certainly have an attitude. We certainly have an aura. I mean, like we certainly are. We're certainly cut from a different cloth than maybe the other parts of the country. I mean, we have a very unique music scene, a legendary punk rock and hardcore scene down there.
Where are you in upstate New York?
I'm probably close. I'm in a rural area, but I always tell people the closest big city would be Syracuse.
Syracuse.
Yeah, so
you might as well be in Canada at that point.
I might as well be in. You're right. I might as well. You're right. You're right. Yeah, and like I said, every time I tell somebody that I'm from New York, they instantly want to know what borough. Are you from the Bronx? Are you from Queens? I'm like, no, I'm nowhere near any of the excitement. But so as a New Yorker, man, how has that affected like your approach to music?
I mean, that's another interesting question. Of course it affected me. I don't know exactly how. It's not something that you really, that I was ever conscious of, or it's not something I ever really thought about. But even if you look at, the bands that have come out of New York over the years, Kiss, for example.
Right.
Anthrax, for example.
Yeah,
you look at the big four, Anthrax, the only New York band out of the big four.
Yep.
They always had a different thing, a different vibe, a different sound. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely something to be said for making music in certain cities or surroundings. Look at Seattle, like all the bands that came out of Seattle.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there was a certain sound and a certain, what's the right word? Depressiveness, maybe.
That's pretty accurate with the grunge scene. Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes like the city or the area that you're from can kind of like be the muse, though. You know what I mean? Like, like when you're creating, what's your own creative process like? Like when you're going to create music or write guitar parts or lyrics or like whatever you're going to create, are you the type that gets kind of sparks of creativity throughout the day and you're jotting stuff down or humming stuff into a phone or doing whatever you do? Or do you sit down and treat it like a job, like punching into a clock? Like, I'm going to sit down right now for the next couple hours and I'm going to create music.
It's different all the time. It depends on what it is. I definitely sing little like riff ideas and stuff into my phone all the time. I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go back and listen and it's like, what the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah. I can't hit delete fast enough on this.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it is like, there'll be an idea in my head that in my head sounds pretty awesome, but I don't really convey that the right way into the, I might be out at a store or something,
right?
Like hum something weird into the phone, but it's not like I'm not doing it right.
You just haven't fleshed it right. You just haven't fleshed it out properly yet.
Yeah, and then I go back and listen to it, and it sounds like nothing. It's like, okay, well, what the hell was I thinking?
Right.
But yeah, no, it just depends. Like I said, there's no formula. Every song comes about in a different way, and some songs are super easy and everything just flows and there it is and it's great. And then sometimes, you got to chip away at it for a long time.
Are you the type that are you the type that feels like at this point in your career that you would ever backtrack and revisit any of the bands? You know what I mean? Like, not that, you know, obviously there'd have to be an opening or a vacancy or whatever, or like a need for you in those bands, you know, but do you ever foresee yourself back in a Volbeat or back in an Anthrax, or do you just, or do you think those were just like a snapshot in time and those, you know, and it's a bygone era and that wouldn't be revisited? Or never say never type deal?
I don't know. You know, it's, you know, those bands, like everything that I've done, you know, leading up to this point, obviously it's my story, and that's. But yeah, I don't really know. The only thing I can do as a musician and as an artist is look forward and just you know, again, keep creating and keep making stuff that I'm hopefully proud of. You know.
Now for you, and I feel like you'd be the kind of guy that would have a definitive answer on this. You know, if you had to take one album, you know, to a desert island, do you have a desert island album? Is there a definitive one that you could just like be on a desert island with and live with?
I think if I can only bring one album on a desert island, I would be miserable. But yeah, I have a few desert island records.
Yeah, it would be pretty fucking horrible. Yeah, man. Yeah, you know what? It was a good conversation, so I'll let you take a couple or whatever. But I mean, yeah, is there a couple that come to mind immediately?
Metallica, Master of Puppets.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that just rips my head off every time.
No doubt.
You know, AC/DC, Back in Black. Van Halen, 1984.
Yep. Well, you're at least picking some good ones, man. Yeah, like those are albums that you could, for you know, for sure wouldn't be bad to be stuck on a desert island with any of those albums.
Yeah, yeah. The Cure, Disintegration.
Right, because you got to switch up the moods a little bit, right? You can't have it heavy all the time.
He's also one of my favorite guitar players too, Robert Smith.
Yeah,
amazing.
What draws you to a guitar player, man? Is it tone? Is it like is it choice of notes? Like, what is it as a guitar player yourself that makes you tap in and make a guitar player resonate with you? I know we talked about guys that do resonate with you, but what's the actual thing that you're hearing with your ears that draws you to somebody?
It's different with everyone. It could be. I mean, I think probably the most important thing is, you know, if they have something to say on the instrument, that resonates with me, and that's really what it's all about, you know. But a lot of times it's all kind of, you know, connected. You know, the tone is a part of it. You know, that's what your ear, you know, that's what grabs your ear.
Right.
But yeah, it just depends. You know, for example, like Robert Smith, I think the way he can create different moods with the guitar is just, it's amazing and super unique. That band I saw the other night, Ulcerate, the guitar player, is super unique. It's kind of a crazy style, but I love it. You know, it's again, it depends. I don't really know.
Yeah, you pretty much know what you're going to get when a band is called Ulcerate.
Yeah,
you know you're going to get clobbered, man, for sure. I mean, you know, and I have heard them and do know what you're talking about, man. Yeah, so they are extreme metal for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's that band's like, you know, it's, I guess, you know, they're under the death metal umbrella, but you know,
right.
When you see them, when you really witness what they're doing, they're definitely, you know, very lofty in their ideas. You know, it's very progressive.
Yeah.
You know, super tight band.
Yeah. And so before I let you out of here, man, do you have anything currently going on or anything that you could promote or tell people how to tap in with you to find out what is going on with you? Where's the best place to, you know, tap in with ROB CAGGIANO and find out what you are up to?
Yeah, I guess, you know, my Instagram is a good place to start. Although I haven't really been super, I kind of like took not really a break, but took a step back from social media just because, you know, I think it's great in a lot of ways, but it's also,
it's a lot.
It's hard.
It's a lot. Yeah, it is. It is.
You know, and you know, it kind of ties back to what we were talking about earlier with, you know, the newer generation and the way music is consumed these days with, you know, people's attention spans and all that stuff, and the whole TikTok culture.
Yeah, it's awful. I kind of went kicking and screaming too, because you know, I had people chirping in my ear, because for a while when I was doing the podcast, I had the YouTube channel, and I was only really promoting the episodes on my Facebook page. And then someone got in my ear and said, you know, it's a different era. You gotta, you know, you gotta take little reels or snippets of these conversations and promote them on your Instagram. Get your Instagram game up to snuff a little bit. It's a good promotional tool. And I kind of went kicking and screaming because I didn't want to be on all these platforms. You know what I mean? I am seeing that it is a bit of a useful tool. I have tried to I have tried to up my Instagram game a little bit, man, but I don't love it though. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, sometimes I'll have these long form conversations, you know, like we're having now. And that is pretty much what my episodes are. But I notice sometimes that when I take the 60-second snippets and put them on Instagram, they do better. You're right. It's a TikTok world. People just want to see, like, you know, then maybe they might see us talking about something in that snippet, and maybe it drives them to watch the full episode. But it's not always a given though. You know, sometimes people just want to see, like, hey, let me see what he's saying for 60 seconds. So I try to make sure that it's a poignant part of the conversation. So maybe they learn something new, or it's informative, and maybe they go watch the whole thing. But you're right. It is that kind of world right now where people are just like, hey, entertain me for, you know, for 30 seconds or 60 seconds, and then I'm on to the next thing. Yeah, which is kind of sad.
I mean, for me, it's just you know, it's just a way to keep in touch with you know, fans, people out there that might be curious or whatever. But yeah, I'm definitely cooking up some stuff. So.
Awesome. And I hope when the stuff gets cooked up, man, we can revisit this and we can do it again, man, when you've got something to promote and we can talk about it, man. That's exciting news, man. And I think fans will be looking forward to it, man, for sure, man. And yeah, I really enjoyed this, man. Stay in touch, and I look forward to doing it again for sure, man. I appreciate the time, man. Really means a lot.
Awesome. Yeah, this was fun. So we'll definitely do this again.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Rob. Thanks, man. We'll talk again, my friend.
All right.
Thank you.
Cheers, man.
All right, brother.
Bye-bye.
And there he goes, folks. Rob Caggiano. Happy we got a chance to do that. Been cooking that one up for a couple of weeks, talking to him on and off. I'm glad we finally got a chance to do it, man. That is, of course, Rob Caggiano. You know him from his 2 different stints in Anthrax, the legendary Anthrax, and make no mistake, the legendary VOLBEAT as well. Was in Anthrax from 2001 to 2005, and then again from 2007 to 2013, and was in VOLBEAT from 2013 to 2023, a little more than a decade with that band. Also did The Damn Things, and has just produced a ton of shit. You can go on and check out his resume. Oh, geez, man. I had his resume here, too, in front of me, and it was really, really, really absolutely insane, the stuff that he has been a producer on. And I'm going to try to fill you in and just kind of give you the rundown and brag a little bit about his resume. Cradle of Filth, Bleeding Through. He mentioned Jesse Moline, El Nino, Machine Head. He's been in the producer's seat for a couple Anthrax albums. Prong, H2O, Dry Kill Logic, 36 Crazy Fist, and I'm just reading off the internet here. Been in the producer's seat for a VOLBEAT album. So his credentials speak for themselves. Accomplished producer, accomplished guitar player, and most importantly, great guy. Glad we got a chance to do that. Hope you guys dug that episode. I gave you the 411 on the promotional spiel before he got in here. I'll run it down for you one more time. Make sure to tap into PodScum on Facebook. Our handle is Off the Couch Boxing and PodScum. Don't be confused. I got 2 separate podcasts, one with the boxing thing, one here on PodScum with the music thing. And I got one Facebook page to promote them both. And as I told Rob, that's the extent of my involvement on social media. Same with the Instagram. Both shows promoted on one Instagram. I can't do more than that, folks. I just can't. Please understand, man. People have said many times, have a separate Facebook and a separate Instagram for both your shows. No, will not do it. So tap in with us on Instagram, same handle, Off the Couch Boxing and PodScum. And of course, if you're watching us right now, like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell to stay tapped in with us. New content coming your way every single week, man. And so that's why you want to hit that notification bell, so you will be in the know when that new content drops. Sometimes, as I said, it's an episode. Sometimes it's multiple episodes. Really just depends on how many people I'm able to pull in and have these incredible conversations with. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I want to really thank Rob Caggiano, man. Fellow New Yorker. Love the fact that he came in here and chopped it up with me, man. You can, again, check out his amazing work on numerous VOLBEAT albums as well as Anthrax albums. And and go do a deep dive on all the stuff where he's been in the producer's chair. A lot of great music, man. He's got an incredible resume, and I look forward to having him on here again and chopping up with him, as he hinted at and alluded to. He's got stuff in the works, man. So sounds like 2026 is shaping up to be a year where we will see and hear a lot of Rob Caggiano. You know, if I'm reading the signals correctly. He was a bit coy about it, man, but it sounds like he's got some stuff cooking and in the works. He said as much. So look forward to that, man. Hope you guys dug that episode. I appreciate the viewers. I appreciate the subscribers. I appreciate the guests, man. I appreciate everybody that's lifted this podcast up and has helped to make it something. Appreciate all you guys, man. And a special thanks today again to Rob Caggiano of Anthrax and VOLBEAT and many other great musical projects, man. And just another great conversation in the books, man. Until we get together and we do this thing again, remember, this is your boy Reckless Rexx reminding you to take it easy and keep it sleazy.